So Dave, you have worked with, well, you've now affected the lives of millions of people around the world. You've personally worked with, I'm sure, thousands, and you've spent your life hacking your own body to figure out what works and what doesn't. I know working around a lot of high-profile people who are they're great at what they do. They're more productive than most others. They're really winning at life. But so many of them have been fed things that I know you've discovered that over the past 30, 40, 50 years that they've been fed them. Maybe they're not the best things. It's just what we were taught we were supposed to do based on, I don't know, social pressures and everything else. So if you're looking at someone who wants to achieve more, wants to feel better, wants to do more, wants to help more, wants to contribute more, where do you start looking? What are the first few things they can look at to help them get to the next level?
The first thing to understand is that there's an ROI on everything you do. There's an ROI on what you put on your plate. And the way you measure the returns that you get from what you eat is, do I have a lot of energy and am I hungry a couple hours later? If so, what you put on your plate didn't provide a very good return for you. So, it tasted really good, which is part of the pleasure, but it actually didn't power you well. And that's a problem. And the same thing goes for exercise. We just opened Bulletproof Labs in Santa Monica. And the idea there is, yes, for some people, you can work out for only 90 minutes a day and eat, a few leaves of kale or something and you'll lose weight. You'll be hungry and miserable the entire time, but you might lose weight and it'll come back as soon as you stop an unsustainable diet. So what you're looking at is, how do I exercise as little as is required for me to get the results I want, and more if you like it? And how do you eat stuff that tastes good and leaves you full of energy and doesn't make you fat? So the first thing that people get wrong is they think that exercise makes them thin. It doesn't. Exercise can put on muscle, but what makes you thin is eating the right foods. Second thing is, they believe that being hungry is somehow morally superior or is going to make you lose weight. It does not. As someone who weighed 300 pounds and lost 100 pounds of fat, I can tell you that being hungry all the time doesn't work. I practice fasting and intermittent fasting, but when I do it, I'm not hungry because my biology works again. So the first thing is, don't eat all the time. If you have to eat all the time, you're eating wrong. And if you're hungry all the time, you're eating wrong. If you can solve those two problems, you'll do things that you wouldn't imagine. The next thing to pay attention to is that your biology, your body, doesn't really listen to you very well. You can meditate, you can sort of tap into it, but it listens to the environment around you every second of every day. So if you set your environment up, your body will change to match the environment. That means if you improve the way you sleep, which is an amazing way to have more energy, have a higher IQ, to live longer, everything else, better sleep. There's an ROI on sleep. Did you want to sleep 8 hours a night like a good person? No, if it was crappy sleep, you actually didn't want to do that. I've slept 6 hours and 5 minutes on average per night for the past, I can look at my phone, but it's more than 5 years now, and I measure it every night. I actually have lost weight. I feel good, like I'm getting younger by many different measures. How is that possible? It's because my sleep is really good sleep. So what if in every meal, what if every night, what if in every workout session, like how do I get more out of the effort I'm willing to put into this? If you do that right, it frees up a lot of that effort, that willpower that you can use for other things in your life, whether it's personal development, whether it's something else. One of the big things I'm most concerned about right now has to do with my cool Rockstar glasses. These are True Dark glasses. And what these do is they filter out half of the junk light, the blue light that we're exposed to during the day. And during the day, we're getting so much indoor light that's just bizarre spectrums our body never expected. Light's a nutrient. And when you get too much of this, it actually affects your blood sugar levels. It affects your eye strain. So I have way more energy at the end of the day because I modified the light that's going into my eyes. And before bed, I dim the lights at home, and there's another pair of glasses that makes me go to sleep faster. So light matters, temperature matters, food matters. But when you have these blinders on that say, all I have to do is just run 10 miles a day and eat nothing but twigs, I'm somehow going to feel good or look good or live a long time. None of that was ever true.
Love it. And so where do people begin to start learning about this? Obviously, you have some books and other things. Where do they start?
The easiest thing to do is to go to the Bulletproof website and just download the Bulletproof Diet Roadmap. And what this is like the body of my work in a one-page infographic that tells you this amazing thing, which is that not all proteins are the same, not all fats are the same, not all carbs are the same. It tells you when to eat, and it tells you these foods are foods that we call bulletproof foods. Almost everyone feels good and energized when they eat them. These foods are what I call suspect foods. For many of us, they're causing your obesity, your inflammation, your brain fog, but they might be fine for the person next to you because we're biochemically unique. And then there's a list of kryptonite foods, things like MSG, margarine, whole grains, believe it or not, cause inflammation for so many people. And when you take those kryptonite foods out of your diet, and maybe for a little while, you stop eating all the suspect foods. You're like, what just happened? My brain works. I had my new pants, and it happens very quickly. Then you're saying, okay, some of those suspects were guilty. And then you can figure out what are the foods you should never eat again because they're not compatible with your biology. And that is just a bulletproof diet roadmap. And it's a free download. I just want people to print it, put it on their fridge, and it tells you, here's what to do when, so you don't have to think about this. You don't have to become an expert in it. You just have to follow the roadmap.
Thank you. Sounds good.